Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be checking out some Born Pretty products, and we are also going to be doing some nails with their quick extension gel on horns. Usually they put them in separate plastic bags, and in addition to that they've also got plastic around the cap and all the way down the bottle. Now the first one is their Jelly Nude Polish. This one is JN20. These are translucent, but you can make them more opaque by adding coats. So I'll show you what they look like if I add a few. I've buffed all the tips and I'm just going to put down a thin layer of base coat. I just want an even surface, and then I'm going to cure that before I go in with any of the polish. Now this one was a bit different. Usually they're a lot lighter colours. This was actually really dark, and this colour is wicked. It's like a dark strawberry, perhaps, if you can say that. So fun and easy to work with. I mean, you can use these in nail art. I mean, you could probably do some kind of cool Christmas design with them as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with a second coat. I've only done them very thin. As you can see, it's still got a really nice transparency to it. I just want to kind of see how dark we can get it. Of course, the darker it is, I mean, the more you will kind of lose that jelly appearance to it. But as I said, that's a matter of taste. Now, I've given that one a full cure as well. 60 seconds in my LED. I'll use a 48 watt lamp. And I'm just going to go in with a third coat to see what that turns out like. And these are all soak off as well, so that means they can be removed with acetone. And surprisingly enough, despite having 3 coats, it still is quite transparent. I think, to be quite honest, I think this is my favourite colour out of all the jelly nudes. Then there is another gel polish. It is BP26 colour gel. Slightly bigger bottle, and I also like that they've got like a little window at the front so you can see what kind of colour it is. So again, I'm just going to do one thin coat of that first, and I'm going to cure it. These bigger bottles, they have got really nice brushes on them. They're so easy to work with. Probably could have got away with doing one coat, but I didn't want to do that. I don't like putting gel polish on too thick, so I don't want to risk it not curing. I will be linking everything below, also with a discount code, so if you're interested you can go and check out the description box. And it's like I said earlier, I could have got one with one coat, but I have decided to do 2, which I don't regret doing because it goes on nice and smooth, and you don't risk any kind of wrinkling or lumps. This is also a very pretty colour. I'll be putting down a top coat on these as well. I'm just going to use a non-white top coat just to finish them off. We'll be taking a closer look at all of them at the end of the video as well. Now this one I am excited about. This is a glitter thermal gel as well. Colour CCG01. This colour's kind of different. It's got like a brown and it's got kind of some gold glitter specks in it. It's not your sort of average glitter gel. Again, I'm only doing the thin coat. I do want the glitter a little bit more dense though, so I will be doing 2 coats on this one as well. And I've cured them all for 60 seconds. But this is kind of fun because the lamp does get slightly warm, and as you can see it's changed colour to like a brighter orange instead. I've got a second thermal one as well. I will be putting them both in water at the end of the video just to see what they look like when they change completely. But I'm such a kid, I think these are so fun. It's not hard to get it even, but just make sure that you distribute the glitter properly. And the same with all the others, full cure, and then I'm going to put a top coat on it. Then we have another colour gel. This is BP58. This is more of a brown. It's a beautiful colour. And they have got a really big selection in colours. It's absolutely amazing. Born Pretty aren't expensive either. And what I do like about them, as opposed to, for example, Beetles and a lot of the other brands, is that you can buy them individually. Other times you'll have to end up buying things in a set, and if you run out of your favourite colour you have to repurchase the set to get it, which is kind of annoying sometimes. And again, I could have got away with 1 coat here, chose not to. Now I'm just going to finish this off before I give it a full cure, and then we are going to get into some nails, and I am really excited. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I've got some more product trying and God knows what soon. So if you like this kind of stuff, make sure you hit the bell as well so I don't miss anything. So we're going to be doing some nails now. And I have got one more jelly thermal gel, the G02, that I'm going to be using. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one because this is their rubber base gel. This is 06, and I think this is a really nice colour. So I'm just going to start out like I always do by pushing the cuticles back gently. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you probably know that I nag about prep a lot, but it is super important to have this done properly. And I always use a primer and a base coat. Then I'm going to go in with my e-file on a low setting and just kind of mat the surface. I've still got some product left from my previous nails, so that's why I've got the kind of shaded area. And when that's done, get rid of all the dust. And then, like I said, I'm going to go in with a thin coat of acid-free primer that I'm going to let dry. Just make sure you don't get anything on the skin. You don't want any allergies. Now, this rubber-based gel comes in a 15ml bottle. It's also UV and LED cured. And it's got like a slight rubbery kind of consistency, and that is why it's also called a rubber base. It's got a bit more of a flex to it, and what it does is it kind of fills in the unevennesses and bumps and dents and whatever on the nail to give it a nicer surface. And for some people who have problem nails, rubber base can be a solution. In the instructions it says do one thin coat first and then cure, and then go in with a second thin coat. So I've done like I've been told. Where I've got a little tiny bit of product left, my nails were a little bit uneven, and when I kind of float it over I can see that it is filling everything in. I've just tipped my finger upside down just to kind of draw it a little bit into the centre. Make sure that you cap the edges and then give it a full cure. So I am going to do a fairly short extension on the form today. I'm going to start by rubbing the form together between my fingers so I kind of get a bit of a curve on it. And that little tab that's left on the backing paper, I'm going to peel that off and just put that underneath for support. Now I find these forms to be quite sturdy, so what I do is I just open the back up first and then pinch them gently together in the front. When I apply it to my finger, I try to aim the centre line of the form with the middle of my nail first. Just wiggle it under gently to make it snug. And I'm tipping this form slightly down. Now I want to make sure that this form's correctly aligned before I close any of the tabs up. If you're new to forms and you find them slightly daunting, you can always start with a shorter nail extension first if you find that easier. Now it was a little bit cold in my nail room when I did this, so the gel is a little tiny bit thick. So I'm just going to start off at the free edge to create one. By following the guidelines on the forms, I'm just kind of pulling a thin extension with the brush. And all I'm doing is just kind of joining the free edge with the actual nail plate. When I've done that, I am going to give the free edge full cure. Normally I would have taken the form off straight away after curing this. However, where I struggled a little bit to get enough product on, where it was a bit cold, I did do a little tiny bit more and cured it before I removed the form. Just because I didn't want to risk it snapping. Peel the tabs back first and then pinch it properly together underneath. If it's a little tiny bit stuck, you can always use a cuticle pusher or something just to release it a little bit. But be very careful when you do it so it doesn't snap. So first of all, I'm just going to do a slip layer over the whole nail. This is just so that the gel goes where I want it to. But I would definitely recommend that you used it in a slightly warmer environment than what I've done here, because I did cause myself some problems. One thing I will say about this gel, which I found very impressive, was the clarity. It is super clear, and despite me having to move it around a little bit, it hasn't bubbled either, so that is definitely a plus. Normally I don't really use builders in a bottle, but for people who do, or the ones who just want a quick extension, I think this is a really good option. And I think personally one thing I could easily use it for is to encapsulate, because the clarity is absolutely amazing. It's really good. Despite it being a shorter nail, it still needs to have some structure. It needs to have a little bit of an apex so that it looks nice. And you also need to have enough strength in the stress area. That's the area between the free edge and where it meets the nail plate, because you don't want it snapping off. So all I'm doing is kind of moving the product from side to side, sweeping over. And I'm trying to keep the product in the centre of the nail so it doesn't go too wide and flat. Now I've done all my other nails as well, and as you can see they all look a bit different coloured. And that's literally just because I tried to extend a little bit with the base first. That wasn't a good option. What you can do is though, you can build the extension and use the base on top of that again as a colour gel. But the rubber base on its own isn't strong enough to hold an extension. I've cleaned all of these off, and I am just going to give it a finished file first, just to give it a little bit of shape. I'm going to bring it in on the sides, and then I'm going to shape the free edge. And try and get rid of a little bit of bulk. It wasn't a lot, but just a little bit with my e-file. And they have got these in lots of different colours, so I think for beginners or people who really like builders in a bottle, I think they're a really cool option. I'll be linking everything down below, and I'll also link my discount code. I'm done with the e-file. I'm just going to really quickly refine the nail with my hand file, just to kind of sharpen up the edges. And then I'm going to give this a really good dusting off. When these are nice and clean, I'm just going to apply some thermal gel. This is in 02. And this is such a pretty colour, and as you can see it goes on so well. And these are like 7ml bottles, they're not very big, but that means that you can change them out fairly frequently and they can be purchased individually. So I am going to be doing, as I always do, 2 thin coats and curing them in between. Now I'm going to put some stones on this, so I'll put down a thin coat or top coat first that I'm going to cure. Then we'll see what they turned out like, and then we're going to see what they look like when they change colours. This is what they look like when I've got a few stones on them, just to set it off. So the first one that I started playing around with, I used some cold water. And yes, it is a shot glass. And when I kind of dipped it in, you can see it changes colour. Where it cools down, it goes darker. And you can even see that on my own fingernails as well, because where the heat from my nail bed is heating them up, they're actually lighter than the tip. The tip's darker. And this time, I have got some hot water. You can see it changes colour quite dramatically actually. So yeah, these are really fun and they work. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. And until next time, bye.